Welcome to Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and Music is a Day Job is brought to you by the Concert app. The Concert app is an artist accelerator app that takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour and gives the fan the best experience in independent live music. Today, what I want to talk about is streams actually hurting artists. So I know that sounds crazy, but see, a lot of artists believes like, yeah, if I get all these streams, this is the way I'm gonna get in. And see, the thing is that lasted for a moment in time in this world, and I feel like for a moment in time, it was like people were getting deals and stuff based on like how many streams they had. And so for a moment, it was kind of like if you hit this many streams, it was basically almost like guaranteeing contracts for a first couple people that were like getting to these numbers and stuff like that. And so, what I want to say is how this actually chasing streams can actually hurt you. And so, it's two ways they hurt you, and that's from the consumer side, and that's also from the booking side. And I watch it happen all the time because I see tons of artists chase these streams, and then their career kind of like plummets. And like, I've never been me personally with my career, I never was I probably don't have that many like streams. Like I have a good bit, you know what I'm saying, but it's nothing like crazy or nothing like that. Like I see some of the numbers I see some people posting. I'm like, whoa. Like it's just like I like and it's not to say that like maybe that might work for you possibly. You know, I just see a lot of people on the opposite side have a lot of trouble that have gotten a lot of streams. However, they got them, whether they actually paid for them or whatever situation it was. Now, see, the thing is here goes how it affects you with booking. I watch a lot of artists do this. They get tons of streams, however they get them. I don't like maybe some paid for them, which is totally you shouldn't do this because this can really mess you up if you do it intentionally. And then I know some people who actually got them. They actually got on the playlist somehow and they got on to all this stuff. And this is what happens with their booking. So naturally, a booker will look and see that you have all these streams. And I see it happen a lot. They'll look and see this kid has tons of streams. And they have like, you know, millions of streams or whatever like that. So the booker will automatically think, oh, that means they have tons of fans. And I talked about this in an earlier video where I talked about how fans don't cross over based off of your streams. Like there's no proof here because what happens is how I listen to your music doesn't really determine whether I'm an actual fan because I could be like you could be in the people I may know, you may be in a playlist that I'm already listening to, you may have paid to be promoted somehow. And what happens is that doesn't directly correlate to fans. And so to the promoter, they can't tell where your fans are like the strongest at or anything like that. They're just looking at the idea that you have all these streams. And some people get to these numbers of streams so they can actually get shows. So they can use it as like a form of resume and be like, yo, I'm in all these places. You know what I'm saying? Like everywhere like wants to like I'm popping everywhere, so you should book me because I'm like everyone's listening to me in all these different places and everything like that, and they use it as the resume. So see what happens is this. A lot of these bookers are connected. So they're like they know each other, and then some of them are part of bigger groups like Live Nation AG stuff like that, and then they work with those or they're what I'm saying like they're part of companies that are in other places and book other situations. So it's like they book you because of that, and then you flop, and then they never book you again, and the numbers go up on Polestar, and then people think never to book you again. So this is why I tell artists like if you're not willing, like if you're just gonna stay like a writer or anything like that, then well then good. But if you're trying to be an artist that performs and does things like that and trying to be a full artist that is gonna put out music and be on TV and tour and all that, you have to do the work of the touring that I talk about, for instance, like with concert. You have to do that work. Because if you flop too many times, it's just you're never gonna get any calls anymore. Because everyone's gonna know that it's like, oh, every time we've booked this kid, It was horrible. And this is where the streams can hurt you. This is why I look on people's page and I don't get sometimes why they post, oh man, this year, like when I see the Spotify wrap ups and I see like, man, a dude be like, man, I made 400 million plays. Well, do the tour match? Does the tour match? Because 400 million people, or 400 million, let's say 400 million plays, and let's say a million people listen to you, what, 400 times? um, or however many people this is, you have to, even if you take it down to like tens of thousands, like now you have to start saying like, are these people in the same places? What is this? Because the numbers just aren't equaling out. Like as they say, the math ain't mathing. You know what I'm saying? Like somewhere, if you're in these like hundreds of millions of plays, it's like, yo, somebody has to know. Like somebody has to want to come out and pay. So the other way is this. I see people post a number. Now, this is what I call, and this is what sucks for a lot of people, is like, even in my career, I've never been famous. I'm not famous by any means. I probably have, as I always say, I probably have 2,000, 3,000 fans. And that's what I was able to live off of. And so I'll never be like, man, I'm big and I'm famous or anything like that because it's nothing. It like I make good money. That's it. And then like to my people, I'm dope. So that's cool to me. But what the internet does for you is when you get these streams, it makes you look famous. So it looks comparable, and people try to get the streams to look comparable to famous artists. So then when they do that, what happens is it's kind of like being the poorest famous person. And this is a bad place to be because it's a form of fame that you're saying out loud. You're kind of going like this. If I know you make $3,000 per million, okay, so now that means you made $3,000 at a million. At 10 million, you made 30,000 dollars, and at 100 million, you made $300,000. So I watch people put 100, like let's say 100 million, and that means you made $300,000 this year. And if they're all real, you made around 300, and I think some people would have made 400 based on the types of streams and everything like that. So that's when you ask people. That's when you wonder. And see, consumers, the reason the industry is the way it is because they build a look for these artists and they make it look maintainable. So the kid has the chain, he has the girls, he has the cars, he has the houses. And that's why when they fall off the record label, they don't have none of that. And you'd be like, oh, why is he broke? But see, the label made this person look like they were maintaining this lifestyle. And so the consumer looks and goes like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. He has this, or she has this." And it makes a belief system. When you do that, and especially with streams, which things are like on the internet heavy, you're then making that look to say, "Oh, this person must live very well off of these streams." Now, if it doesn't match, you have a moment in time that the consumer questions what's going on. And this is where people either start to believe your story or not believe your story. And it's hard to tell a different story now. It's hard to change history once you're putting this out there like that. So then the consumers then can kind of go like, oh, well, like you're getting that many plays and you're not touring and you're not like they'll get lost quicker than the person that actually knows, like a person like me. Like I know the logistics of this. A person looking from the outside, a consumer looks at this, all I see is this person got 100 million plays. They must be popping. And then when it all didn't tie up, it's like, well, what's going on? You see what I'm saying? And then you can mess up how you look towards the consumers. You see what I'm saying? Like my entire brand, my whole career has been like that. I'm this independent artist, and me and my partner are independent artists, and we just push to live off this stuff. Not we're rich or we are, you know what I'm saying? It's just we push and we on the grind all the time. And that's been my brand. Like, and that's why even with me building the app, I'm teaching that formula. Like, we grind to get this money. We work hard. And that's the goal of what my entire brand stands around. When people talk that other stuff that's like, oh, well, he has this many millions, you're comparing yourself to an industry standard. And that's where it turns, because if you don't meet that industry standard and look that industry standard, the majority of the time now it becomes questionable. I watched a person the other day post, I think it was like 800 million streams. And so I'm sitting here thinking like, wow. But then I kind of know him. So I'm like lost. Like I'm lost. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, yo, like where did, if you got the money, where did it go? Because it's no way you would be doing any of this if that was the case. Because it's too far out. You know what I'm saying? That if you were like just, oh, you did like, let's say the 10 million and you made 30,000, it'd be like, okay, they did 10 million this year. They did 10 million streams. They might have made it 30,000, whatever. And then you kind of like, when people are living the way they live, you get it. You know what I'm saying? But when you get into the hundreds of millions and you start looking at like 300,000 and more, it's like, it's just like people's regular jobs. But I think people don't notice this. It's just like people's regular jobs. Like people who make 300,000 versus someone who makes 30,000 a year, you see the difference in what they're doing and how they're moving. You know, and so I think they don't see what that puts off to the consumer. And then what that puts off to the consumer then makes it so whether your music seems authentic. And I think people don't get that. So pay attention to how you like put yourself with those streams, because yes, streams can be amazing for you if you do the work behind it of like the grinding and finding the fans and stuff like that. If you just try to base it off of streams and hopefully you get to touring and all that stuff like that, it's not going to work. 99% of the time, it's not going to work. You have the 1% that someone will come behind you, put the money behind you, and get the machine behind you. However, 99% of the time, you're going to have to go do the work. And that's once again why we go to concert and start building. You know what I'm saying? But once again, this has been Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean. And the concert app, once again, we are now in Colorado, Nevada, Utah, Arizona right now. We're about to move into Texas. If you're not in any of those states, we need to get to you. So reach out to me. And if you're an artist, tell all your artist friends, jump on this app so we can have some demand in your area. If you know any venues, let me know, because that makes it easier for us to get out to your area so we can start helping you build. Also, on these videos, if you enjoy these videos, like, share, comment, definitely subscribe. Definitely subscribe, because we're trying to get as many artists possible to notice so they can start building careers. So that's what this is all about. So once again, this has been Music is a Day Job. It's brought to you by the Concert app. I'm your host, Sean.